to Legacy Academy on Lady Glene's YouTube channel. My name is Adeoye. I'll be your pharmacist for today. I'm a registered pharmacist in the island of Jamaica, and we'll be touching a few topics today, such as medication adherence, some common illnesses in the summertime, how to prepare or prevent them. We'll also be touching ways of strengthening and boosting your immune system. These topics are bulky. They can take hours for us to talk about, but I'm gonna try to be as concise as possible. Are you ready? Are you ready? Because I'm ready. All right, let's go. Adherence. What is medication adherence? It's simply the extent to which, a patient or a client takes his or her medication as prescribed by their doctor, ensuring that they take the medication at the right time, the right dose, in the right way, the right frequency, for the right duration. This is key. And to be able to do that, the patient has to have full understanding of the medication and the instructions accompanied with the medication. So it's very important, because non-adherence can lead to the condition getting worse. It can lead to the patient being hospitalized or re-hospitalized. In some cases, it can lead to death. So there are some causes for non-adherence to medication, which includes patients not fully understanding why they're taking a medication, or even the instruction behind the medication. That's a big cause to why patients sometimes don't take the medication. Another cause is forgetfulness. They completely forget about their medication. Another issue that I find is because some patients are on multiple medications, it's a big cause for non-adherence. And in some cases, some patients feel like they have some unpleasant side effects. Some medications do have some unpleasant side effects, which is a cause for patients, being non-adherent to the medication. Another one is medication cost. The cost of a medication can really stop some patients from taking their medication or refilling their prescription. And something that can help when it comes to cost is having a health insurance card. And we have three major companies that assist or provide health insurance card. You have Sagicor, you have Medicus, and you have the National Health Fund. For the National Health Fund, their process is very easy. It's a same-day process. The wait shouldn't be more than 30 minutes. So what you can do is you fill out the application form, ensure that you have your TRN number, and then you take that application form to a doctor or your doctor. Let them certify that document, ensure that their registration number and their signature is on it, and then you take it to the nearest National Health Fund or drugstore pharmacy nearest to you. A common one in Kingston is Kingston Public Hospital, or you can go to the head office in New Kingston, Dominica Drive, the Towers, New Kingston, Dominica Drive, 25 Dominica Drive. So you can take it there and they will process it for you. Because they cover a myriad of conditions like diabetes, epilepsy, hypertension, asthma, etc. And they have a lot of medications that that the card covers. So if you go to any pharmacy, whether it's drugstore or private, once you hand in the card, NHF is able to pay some of the cost of the medication, so you pay less. It's usually at 80-20%, so they pay 80% and you pay 20%. All right, and the same applies for Sagicor and Medicus. Point to note, these health cards do not cover over-the-counter medications, okay? They do not cover over-the-counter medications. So if you, for instance, trying to fill a prescription for a vitamin, it won't cover it, okay? All right. So what are some common errors made, non-adherence errors? Let's look at some of them. An important or a common one is double dosing. This is when a patient missed a dose and thinks it's okay to take 2 of the same medication in order to make up for the one that was missed. That's a no-no. You ought not to do that. Another error is when patients mix or combine their medication with an inappropriate beverage or food. It's important for you to note that. Another error is when patients take the medication at the wrong time. All right. Another error is taking the incorrect medication. Yes, if you take the incorrect medication, that's also an error, or taking the incorrect dosage, too low or too high. Okay. Another error some patients make is completely forgetting to take their medication. That's not right. Another common one is not filling or refilling their prescription. That ought not to be. All right, so it's important that you adhere to the instructions that is tied to your medication. So what are some tips for adherence to your medication? Firstly, you can ensure that you take the medication at the same time each day. That is very important, especially for your antibiotics. Okay. For example, if the instruction is to take it every 12 hours, so you can decide if it's going to be 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. or 8 or 9 a.m. and 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. respectively. So find a time that is very convenient for you to take your medication, and when you do, ensure that you take them same time each day. Another point to also take note of is, if you're the type that forgets to take your medication, make use of reminders. Set reminders on your phone. If you're living with someone, if you have a wife or husband, or you have children or uncle or aunt that you live with, they can be your reminder too. You can tell them, oh, please remind me to take my medication at so time. All right. Especially the elderlies, they tend to always need help in remembering when to take their medication. So ensure that you set reminders on your phone, or if you have someone that is living with you around you that can help, that can serve as a reminder too, that would be great. Okay. So it's important to set reminders on your phone as to the times you're supposed to take your medication. All right. Another point to note is using a medication calendar or a medication chart or schedule. All right. This, you will just place it with your medications. Wherever you place your medication, place it there, and just take notes of the times in the day that you're supposed to take your medication. So as soon as you take the medication, indicate, so that when you come back, it can always remind you of keep you in check as to you taking your medication. So that's something you can also employ. All right. Another point is you can tie taking your medication to an activity that you do daily. For example, everybody brushes their teeth every day, and at some point we go to bed. So you can, for example, tie taking your medication to those activities that you do. Just that's for an example. Except for the ones that you have to take before or after meals, then you kind of find out what activities best suits the time to take your medication. So any activity that you find that you do every day, you can tie your taking your medication to that activity. That can be very helpful. Another point you can make is to have a relationship with your pharmacist. All right. If you if you're able or you have the privilege of having a pharmacist as a friend, or you have a pharmacist that you visit regularly who is comfortable with you calling them, giving them advice, or setting reminders regarding your medication, that is also an option. All right, where your pharmacist can also remind you or keep tabs, all right, as to if you're following the instructions for your medication. All right, that's important. So yes, those are a few pointers. If you have any points as well that you've been using personally that's been helping you, feel free to place it in the comment. I would love to read it. And if you have any questions regarding this topic, feel free to drop it in the comment section. Okay, so let's look at some common illnesses during the summertime. First, you have asthma. Yes, asthma can be triggered in the summertime, especially because it's hot and humid, and so there's no proper airflow, which can trap dust and mold, which will exacerbate asthma symptoms like shortness of breath and coughing or wheezing. So it's important to know that asthma can also be triggered in the summertime. You have flu. Yes, you have summer flu. You have acne. Yes, that can be prevalent in the summertime as well. You have hypothermia. Hypothermia is when your body temperature is really high. All right, that's something to note as well. I've seen cases of measles, chickenpox, mumps, even in the summertime. Food poisoning too is also something to be aware of. It's something that also is set to be prevalent in summertime. And you have some skin conditions like, dryness of the skin, eczema, heat rash. Those are some common illnesses that you find, some of the common illnesses that you find in the summertime. How do you prevent or prepare for this? First of all, you have to stay hydrated. Hydration is very important. You're supposed to be drinking 2 to 3 liters per day. All right, and it's important to stay away from caffeine or alcohol in order to help you stay hydrated. It's best to be properly hydrated after drinking water. Stay away or reduce your consumption of caffeine and alcohol. All right, so protection from sun is another major point. If you don't have to go out in the heat or in the sun, or if you don't have to stay out for a prolonged amount of time, then you don't. All right, and then you can apply sunscreen. Ensure that the SPF level minimum is 30. All right, for those of you who work in places that have AC, good luck to you, but not everybody has that opportunity or that luxury. So if you don't have that luxury, you work in the sun or in the outside, ensure that you wear sunscreen. If there's a way to limit the amount of time you spend outside in the heat, then do so. All right, that's important as well. And for patients who have skin conditions like eczema or heat rash, which is usually prevalent in the summer, some tips that I have for you is when you bathe, ensure that you don't wipe your skin dry. All right, I want you to dab. Instead of wiping, you just dab with your towel. You dab and not wipe. All right, and then ensure that you use moisturizers. There's so much moisturizers out there. Find one that you like, scented, unscented, common ones, or simple ones you can use. You can use emulsifying ointment, glycerin naturals cream, any moisturizer. A Cetaphil moisturizer is also a good one. You have Vaseline as a product as well that you can use as well if you're having eczema, because mostly if you're having eczema, I'm sure your skin will be red, itchy, dry. A good product you can use is hydrocortisone 1% or 0.1%. That's over the counter. You can go to any pharmacy and get hydrocortisone cream or hydrocortisone ointment. I usually prefer, if the eczema is somewhere from your neck downwards, I always recommend ointment. But if it's on your face, you can get a cream. And if you use it for a while and it doesn't go, you feel free to check your doctor or your dermatologist for a stronger steroid that you can use. So let's look at some tips to help to strengthen or boost your immune system. All right, the first thing I'm going to say is do not smoke. Whether it's passively or actively, whether it's light smoking or intermittently smoking, is a no-no, because it increases your risk of cancer, lung cancer, esophageal cancer, stomach cancer, pancreatic cancer. It can actually delay conception in women and causes poorer function of sperm in men. It's a no-no. It increases your risk of cardiovascular diseases. It's a no-no. All right. It can also increase your risk of respiratory infection. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease is something that you're at risk of for smoking. All right, that's number 1 point. Do not smoke. Number 2, if you have to drink alcohol, ensure that you drink it in moderation. Moderation for men is up to 2 drinks per day, and for women 1 drink per day, nothing more. If you have to drink alcohol, drink in moderation. Okay? Getting adequate sleep is important to strengthening or boosting your immune system. When I say adequate sleep, for young adults up, between 7 to 8 hours of sleep is adequate. Between 7 to 8 hours of sleep is considered adequate. Okay? Exercise regularly. Minimum of 3 times a week, 30 minutes. That should be good. If you can do that, that is a good start. Okay, so engaging in exercise, whether it's aerobic exercise or muscle building, whatever the case is, cardio, yes, engage in some exercise. Try to minimize stress. Stress can, suppress your immune system. So whatever it is that is stressing you out, whatever stressors you have, try to get rid of them or stay away from them. Okay? Take steps to avoid infection by washing your hands, ensuring that every meat that you're going to eat is cooked properly and thoroughly. Okay? Ensure that you avoid by any means to avoid infection. We're in the time of COVID-19, so of course wearing your mask, washing your hands, ensure that you wash it there's a 20-second rule. You wash your hand for 20 seconds before rinsing. All right, social distance at this time, all right, is very important. All right, maintaining a healthy weight is important as well, to maintain a healthy weight. The recommended or the range for normal weight is a BMI of 18.5 to 24.9. That is considered a normal weight. How do you know your BMI? The formula is really weight in kilogram over your height meter square. Or if you don't want to go through all of that, if you go online, you'll find calculators for your BMI and you plug it in and to give you your BMI. If you're overweight, if your BMI is between 25 to 29.9, that means you're overweight. If your BMI is 30 and over, it means you're obese. You don't want that. So try to maintain a normal weight. All right. Another point is to keep current with vaccination. So every year there's a flu shot. Ensure that you always taking your flu shot. COVID-19 shots are being given now. Ensure that you find means of getting one as well. All right. And my last point, which is very important, is eating a balanced diet. It's important, yes. Eating a healthy diet remains the best way to get sufficient amount of vitamins and minerals that you need. yes, it's still the best way. I mean, you have some people promoting, you have some, vitamins on the market now that you can take, but eating a balanced diet is still the best way to go. And of course, if you want to take, all those medications, all those vitamins and minerals out there, that is also fine. Okay, ensure that your diet is, there's a high, content of fruit and vegetable. Very important, very, very important. Okay, all right, and that's very important. Protein, carbs, very important, very important. All right, less of fast food. Fast food is not a healthy eating, just to note. So yes, all right, thank you for joining me today. It was a pleasure having you. All right, until next time.